What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
That man's gone mad!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my bullshit!
I ate his liver with some fava beans and asked me this house.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? Welcome back to another episode of Fright Flick Fuck Marry Kill. As always, I'm your host Jay, and this week I am all by my lonesome. I am flying solo tonight, but not too solo because I am here with the gentleman Jack. Hold on one second. Oh, it's so fucking good when it hits the lips. Hey, we made it through another week. If you're listening to this is on Friday. As I'm getting ready to record this, as I'm doing now, I have been in my gentleman Jack now for a few minutes now. Wasn't completely planned to record tonight. It was this movie was on my list of things to do, and it was one of those last minute kind of things where I'm like, hey, I think I'll do it, and talk about this movie. And then of course we started dipping in the gentleman Jack like we always do here, because I tell people every week, this show, we go better with alcohol. And yeah, but for this week's show, I've decided that I'm going to be talking about a brand new film, brand new 2024 American supernatural horror film directed by, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I'm terrible with saying names. Arkasha Stevenson, female director. And on this show, I'm a huge fan of female horror movie directors. But this week, we're talking about the first Omen, brand new 2024. I caught this one. I came across it on Hulu. I feel sure it's on like Amazon, places like that, maybe. I'm not sure. I just know I seen it pop up on Hulu, checked it out, and said, hey, fuck it. This is what I want to talk about this week. But yeah, before we jump into it, we're going to touch on a little bit of the housekeeping shit. The website, frightflickfmkpodcast.com. If you're watching this on the YouTube, up there on the little border thing, it has the website. If you're listening on podcast platforms, it should be a link to it. You should be able to click it, take you to the website. It's kind of a one-stop shop. Everything's there. The YouTube videos, I think it's even linked to my Instagram. You can also show your support for the shit show there. There's a link to the Patreon. The Patreon is literally one level. It's a $5 a month for support. If you don't want to do that, then there's a link to a buy me a coffee, and you just make a one-time donation. But I think I label mine, when you go to the website, it shows up as like a beer, because I'm more like, don't get me wrong, I do love my coffee, but it shows up as kind of like, buy me a beer type thing. Even though I drink beer every now and then, very rare. When I'm normally drinking, it's going to be me and my good buddy here, Jack. Hold on one second. Everybody grab your drink, take a sip. So good. But yeah, that's some of the housekeeping stuff. Go check us out. We're on all the social media stuff. Fright Flick FMK Podcast, Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook. I don't do a whole lot with it. I'm not that social media savvy. I will post some shit about, upcoming episodes and stuff like that. the Fright Flick page on Facebook is tied into my regular Facebook. Uh, it's mainly just going to be a bunch of memes because I love a good meme. I love, you know, sharing them and whatever may get a laugh or whatever may piss some people off. I really don't give a fuck. But but yeah, I think that's some of the housekeeping stuff. I am part of the debauch network. The link is also in the bio on the social media sites. It is like a group of us podcasters. On there are Criminal AF, True Crime University. They're big on the true crime. If Yeah, a lot of people out there, that's your thing. I love some true crime shit. You can go give them a listen. Criminal AF, True Crime University. Um, but yeah, I think that's going to touch it. Like I said, I do it every week. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on the housekeeping shit. But hope everybody's had a great week. If you're listening to this, you made it to Friday. You made another fucking week down. How fast is this year clipping by? Like, holy shit, like we're halfway through August right now. I'm excited. I'm excited for the fact because I'm about to retire. Been in the military going on 20 years. I'm about to retire. And so I'm counting down the days, man. I am, this time next year, I will be completely retired. And so I'm looking forward to it. And I love the fact that here we are in August and we are creeping our way into the best time of the year, the greatest time of the year. So many things are going on this time of year. For me, one, football season right around the corner. Preseason's kicked off. We're about to be locked into some college football, some NFL. Saturdays and Sundays are about to be booked up, people. It will take something very, very serious to get me away from the TV on Saturdays and Sundays because it's football season. We're coming up on the cooler weather in another month or so moving in. I can't wait. I love cold weather. I love wintertime. I love it when the sun goes down and it's dark by like 6 o'clock. I love it. So we're almost there. The greatest time of the year. We are right there on it, and I can't wait because I love the winter. I love the cold. I love when it gets dark. I can't wait. Pumpkin spice and everything nice, all that sweet shit, can't wait for it. But yep. One thing earlier, I was thinking earlier of over the last couple of weeks, I haven't watched a whole lot of horror movies. I haven't, normally I like to stay on top of them, just watching random shit. But over the last couple of weeks, we had the Olympics going on. And when the Olympics are going on, I get sucked into it, man. Like sucked in. And I don't know what everybody uses to stream or whatever. I use the YouTube TV. And they give you that option, at one point you click on it, it's got like 4 screens going at once and some type of Olympic shit going on. And man, for 2 weeks, that's been my thing. I've been locked in on the Olympics. I watch some movies every now and then, because they were in France. So a lot of it wrapped up kind of early. So in the evening times, I'd watch something. But man, the Olympics they get me every time. I was bummed out. It ended yesterday. I'm recording this on a Monday. So they ended on a Sunday. And I told my wife, I was like, shit, now I got to find something to kind of watch more on a regular basis because the Olympics have had me locked in for 2 weeks. Now I guess I got to wait on the Winter Olympics. But I've had a good time watching those. Some good stuff come out of the Olympics if you think about it. One, we got to see the dude. If you follow any type of like TikTok memes, social media type shit, you've come across the dude with the big dick that tried to do the pole vault type shit over the pole, and his big old cock got caught on the damn pole, and it fucked him up. Hey, you lost the Olympic gold medal, but everybody in the world now knows how big your dick is, buddy. So you gotta look at the glass half full, not half empty. That big old cock slapped hold of that damn pole, and everybody in the world's like, holy shit. So, hey, you might have I feel sure his phone was ringing off the hook. There's some damn companies out there that were like, hey, dude, why don't you bring your talent over here? And so yeah, that was That was interesting. And then one of my favorites out of this was the first year that the Olympics had breakdancing. I'm a fan of breakdancing. Uh, and so I was enjoying watching that. And one of the best part is the old girl from Australia. I don't have her little name right here in front of me right now, but she just it was like they just it's like she just walked up to the Olympic sign up window in Australia and was like looking for something to do. Like, here's all the list of all the events in the Olympics. She's going down to their track and field. Nope, can't run. Golf, can't play golf, can't play volleyball, break dancing. And it was just like they just took her word for it. She's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll break dance. Oh, wait, damn it, you're signed up. Let's go get on the plane. We're taking you to France. And old girl got out there and did her thing. And so that was entertaining. Yeah, the Olympics were awesome. So yeah, I haven't watched a whole lot of new any type of horror, a whole lot, for the show I have, but it just the Olympics have had me. One of the things that popped up today, I don't have to pull my phone out right now, and we're gonna get to the movie, people. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get to it. One of the things that popped up today, and I screenshot it because it surprised me. I came across something on the old interweb. It was like a little poll, and the question was, "What's harder to watch in real life?" Real life, people, not movies. Real life. And they gave you 4 options to choose from of which one is harder to watch. Real life. One of the choices. Here are the choices. Violence to a pet. Violence to a child. Violence to a senior. Or violence to a disabled person. Hold on one second. Got an itch in my throat. Hold on. Gentleman Jack, thank you. So that was the 4 choices on this poll. And it totally surprised me at what went number 1 over all of them. It made me be like, kind of like
What the fuck is that?
Of like, what the fuck? The number 1, and could you all guess? Number 1, what's harder to watch in real life? Number 1 went to violence to a pet. Yeah. Not a child, not a senior citizen, not a disabled person, a human being. None of those 3. Number 1, violence to a pet. And it was a big gap. Like, not just, squeak by, barely. No, big gap. And as I'm seeing that, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and if anybody's listened to this show before, I'm not an animal person. I am not. Like, I have no pets, never will have pets, don't want pets. I have no desire for pets. I'm not an animal person. But it just surprised me. Like, there's, and maybe a lot of people who come across this poll maybe didn't have kids, but everybody out there's got a fucking parent. You got a parent who at some point possibly was a senior citizen. Everybody's got a parent. So, and the parent one wasn't even close second, further down the list. And I was just sitting there and I'm going like, holy shit, like, man, people out there, so a lot of you senior citizens, people out there with kids and shit, keep in mind that your child out there has no problem watching you get your ass whooped, just as long as your little fucking Fido doesn't get touched. That surprised me. It's just one of the things that kind of I came across it. But that's just weird to me. I honestly did not think pets would top people's own children and their parents or special needs, but it did. Kudos, people out there. Good job. But yeah, that's kind of how my week's been. That's a couple things that popped up. Olympics. Crazy about the fucking. People love their pets more than their parents, apparently. But yeah, The Olympics are over now, so now I get to get more into watching just random horror type shit. You know, I will be, of course, be diving into my normal Tubi rabbit hole and shit like that to see what kind of random shit I can come up with. But I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. The past couple episodes have done really well. I thank everybody for stopping by listening. We're still trying to get to that 100 subscribers on YouTube, people. Because once we get to 100, we're live streaming on the YouTube side of the house. And it will be a little celebration. Because, you know, 100, some people may hear 100 and be like, that ain't shit. Well, damn it. You know, we're an ain't shit podcast here. And we appreciate the little things in life. So 100, that means we're partying it up here on the Fright Flick show at 100 subscribers. That bottle behind me right there, that Frank Sinatra Jack Daniels, we're cracking the top on that bad boy that night. And we're celebrating. So let's get us there. Like, subscribe, share, tell all your fucked up friends about us. And we appreciate it. If you're listening on the podcast, give us a review, 5-star, 4-star, whatever you feel like giving. But I always say, if you're going to give me a 1-star, you know, at least talk a little shit to me so I can get on here and talk a little shit back. And, but yeah, I think that's going to do it for all the how's my week going housekeeping shit. Now we're back to the first Omen 2024, brand new. And let me say this, I really do enjoy religion based type horror movies. It's one of the things I just like it. I grew up, you know, really religious growing up, grew up with, you know, all that, you know, church 3 days a week, you know, all that stuff. So I enjoy horror movies that kind of touch on that side of the house. And I'm a fan of the Omen movies. After I watched this movie, it made me want to go back and just watch them all from the very first one, because this one is I am a fan of a prequel, the one that kind of takes us to the very beginning, and it gives us that look at how it all started. And that's what this one does. This one takes us back prior to the original The Omen, which is 1976, I believe, which was a great year because that was the year I was born. Great fucking year. This one kind of takes us prior to that, and it gives us that look of, okay, this is how little Damien showed up. And I like that. So this one starts off, and man, let me tell you, let me go ahead and get this out of the way now, because I want to talk about this movie. A lot of times I just rate it at the end if I want to fuck it, marry it, or kill it. This one, to me, I'm going to get it out of the way now. This is my opinion. Hey, you all out there know, I tell you all the time, I'm not a smart man. High school diploma here in South Carolina. You can tell by the way I talk, I'm country. So when I say, you know, this is my opinion, some people may watch these movies and look more in depth and try to like break it down more. I'm simple minded. I ain't got time for all that shit. So I just kind of, you know, give it to it. I just got a feeling when I watch movies. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. You know, for me, because I am a fan of, you know, the religion side of it. This movie, to me, the first Omen 2024, is the perfect religious based type horror movie. Perfect. My opinion. We tell people here all the time, I don't care how I rate it. I could sit here and say it was the biggest piece of shit ever, in my opinion, ever made. But I still tell you to go check it out. Go watch it. Make your own choice. Make your own opinion of it. But just take the fact that it's horror and go watch it. But for me, this one was perfect. And this wasn't prior to watching this. I've watched it twice already before recording it. You know, I'd watched it when it first came out. Had no really thoughts of wanting to do a show on it, you know, and I'm sitting there going like, man, what do I want to do this week? And even my brother John, who's normally on here with me, hit me up, and he gave me a couple options. And, you know, once the options he gave me, this was one of them. And I told him, I was like, man, this is kind of on my list of things to go ahead and maybe talk about. So, and if I have the chance, I like to rewatch it right before I come on here and decide to record, just kind of more fresh. And one of the things I really enjoyed was it had me, even though I knew everything that was going to happen, but watching it the second time, I'm sitting there going, okay, I want to pick out, I want to find the little hints, the little things here and there that kind of gave me the answers to the test that I missed the first time. And one thing that I will say this movie did very well is it did so good. Even after watching it again, I couldn't pick the little signs that would have been like, oh man, if I'd have known that the first time, why didn't I see that? They did very well of it's still not showing you anything. It hid certain things so good to where like, even after watching it again today, I'm just like, holy shit, man. Like I couldn't pick out. Like I know this is what happened, but where's the sign? Where's the part of the movie that gives it away to me? And they did not, for me, they didn't have it. Maybe some smarter person than me watches it and could pick it apart. Hey, kudos to you. I don't work that way. But for me, the perfect religion based when we come to like the possession, the devil type shit and all that stuff. I'm a fan of those types of movies. This one knocked it out of the park for me. This is the Mary for me. So yeah, I'm gonna get that out of the way right now before we even dive more and I start spoiling the shit out of it. This movie's a Mary. Perfect. Everything from the if you listen to this show, I'm a fan of a little bit of the gore. I love the gore. Jump scares are good, but jump scares are kind of like it's good every now and then. This movie didn't need jump scares. It really didn't. It gave off a creepiness about it that it just made you just feel it's almost like a little bit uncomfortable, even when you kind of knew when it would build up a moment and you knew it was about to happen. You're still sitting there and you just kind of like, oh fuck, what the hell's about to happen? And so good. It gave me a little bit of some blood, it gave me some gore, it gave me everything. Checked all the boxes for me. No boobs in this one, people. I'll go ahead. If you've listened to the show, we're a fan of boobs here. But I will always say, if you give me a shitty horror movie, at least give me some boobs. This one did not give me a shitty horror movie. It gave me a great horror movie that I really, really enjoyed. So I didn't even notice that at all. I enjoyed this fucking movie. So a little IMDb type shit because right off of where, for the first Omen, a young American woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, but encounters a darkness that causes her to question her faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil, aka the Antichrist, aka the devil, aka Damien. And I mentioned earlier, directed by Arkasha, Arkasha Stevenson. I apologize for messing up the name, but that's what I do here. I can't, that's if I fucked it up, my bad. Some of the cast, Margaret, main character in this movie, such a cool name. Neil Tiger Free. And that's just fucking awesome right there. We're going to have Father Brennan, played by Ralph Ineson. Sister Silva. Oh, she's a mean one. Sonia Braga. Her good friend or roommate in this movie, Luz, Luz, Maria. Whew, that's a hard name. Caballero, Caballero. But yeah, I'm bad with names, people. But you can see the cast. Go to IMDb, Wikipedia. It's all there. You can see it. You can click on it, see their prior work and stuff like that. But And one thing I will give this movie credit for is I need something to kind of get me. It's got to grab my attention right out of the gate. It's just got to be something about it. This one did that. It's been a long time since I've watched the Omen movies. Watching this after I watched it the first time, when I watched it the first time, there was no plan really on doing a show on it. It was just I watched it, and it made me want to like go back and watch all of them, just binge watch. And but yet when it starts off, you're going to get like you get there's some church bell ringing. You get the priest dude's walking up to the church. When he walks into the church, you're seeing they're raising this like big, I forget how them stained windows, and you see them in a lot of churches and stuff, and they got this big stained glass window they're raising up to put install in the church. They're lifting it up by rope. And as soon as they show that, I was like, I hope this fucking thing falls at some point, because it's just if you're going to show it to me at some point, I'm thinking, okay, this thing has got to fall. The priest goes into the church, and he goes into the confession booth, and he's talking to like this I think it was Father Harris was his name. And it's like it's like he must have this is not their first time maybe having a conversation. And it sees him as in the confession booth, he's got like this picture, and he's like, it's like a picture of like a little baby, and it's like two nuns and like a priest in this picture. And he makes a comment like, this is the only proof for what they've done. And the one guy's like, the baby looks human, but don't be confused. She wasn't conceived naturally. And while he's in the booth, he'll start telling this story, kind of like how this baby apparently came about. And while he's talking about it, you basically get this lady. This lady has volunteered to do this ritual or whatever. And she's lays down on a table. She's strapped to this table. They put this little black hoodie over her head. Not like a bag or nothing, but to choke her out. It's just like to obstruct her view. They put it over her head. They put a rope around her neck, and they kind of snug the rope up. And you can see that she can breathe it, that she's able to breathe in it. And then this lady's like standing. It's like you hear like something's about to happen. They don't really show you anything. You just tell that some fucked up shit's going on. And it gives you a shot of like of a lady's feet and blood dripping on the ground and stuff like that. And then he starts talking to him. It goes, and I guess this is like several years prior, because now he makes the comment like, now at this point she should be like a teenager by now. And while he's talking to him, it's flashing back and forth to the lady that's strapped down to the table. And at some point, she's basically asking, like begging to like, I can't do this again. And you're hearing this like growling noise. And I'm like, is this like, I'm assuming this is like the devil, impregnating the lady, maybe? And then at some point, they're talking in the booth, and the one dude makes a comment like, I think it was like Father Harris, like, I can't do this anymore. And he basically gets up and leaves. The other dude gets up, goes running outside. Father Brennan follows him outside. When he follows him outside, he's talking to that Father Harris. And while he's talking to him here, like you hear like some metal noise, like some clanking type noise. And then I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Here's where that fucking stained glass window is going to come crushing down. And I just assumed it was going to be something more like, I don't know. When I seen the window and then I seen that it was more than likely going to fall, I thought it was going to be a little more like just, but it, when it falls, it starts breaking and you hear it, and then you start seeing little pieces of glass fall. At one point, you see this metal pipe go through the glass and you see it. And I'm like, holy shit, this metal pipe's gonna fucking just impale him just straight through the head type shit. That's what I was waiting for. And, you know, Father Brennan, he kind of ducks to the side. Father Harris stands there like a fucking OG. He don't fucking move pretty much. And when it's all said and done, he kind of gets up and he's talking to him. He's like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And he says, I'm fine. And he turns to walk away. Father Harris does. And as he's walking away, Father Brennan calls his name. And as he's walking away, you see the Father Brennan like doing the little, like, you know, the cross thing, shoulder to shoulder, forehead to chest type thing, like being thankful that the damn thing didn't fucking kill him. And he's basically talking to Father Harris. And when Father Harris turns to him to talk to him, when he turns, it gives you a camera shot right at the behind Father Harris. And when it shows it, he's like, the back of Father Harris's head is split the fuck open. Like it's like gaped open, like a baked potato would be split open. And you know, it's like that pole had fallen and just caught him right in the back of the head and just laid open the back of his head. And then it's like he's sitting there talking, and then he kind of looks at Father Brennan, and he's just kind of like, you know, I'm fine now. He does this creepy smile with like the blood on his teeth and shit, and it was just a very cool opening that had my attention because, like I said, right from the get-go, he goes into the church, he's talking to him, you're having the flashbacks of what happened to this girl, you know, bam, pole in the back of the head, baked potato on the back brain, and then it kind of gives us the like intro, like the first Omen. Now where it tells us we're in Rome, 1971. This is where we get our first introduction to Margaret. Margaret's just showing up like she just got off a train. She shows up and she's kind of looking around. A guy comes up to her, and let me see if I put his name in here because I keep forgetting what his fucking name was. It's not Paulo. Nope. Sister. Nope. I think his name was Father Gabriel. I think that was it. Father Gabriel. Gabriel. It's a hard word for me to get out. So she gets off the train. Father Gabriel comes up to her and he's basically like, hey, like, you know, the Cardinal Lawrence is waiting for you. She goes outside. She meets Cardinal Lawrence. You realize right out of the gate that Cardinal Lawrence and her know each other. Like he's known her for a while because the way they're talking. And so he knows her. He basically, they get in the car, they're riding. And she's kind of looking around like maybe first time being in Rome, seeing everything. And while she's out and while they're driving through, you're seeing these like protesters out, like maybe protesting the war, whatever was going on. And having her little strikes with her signs and shit like that. And they basically take her, they pull up at an orphanage. She's going to, I think she's like working at this orphanage. Her plan is to take the vow where they get the veil and be a full-blown like nun. I don't understand all of that, how all that works, but she's basically there, I'm assuming, to get to work with them, and then she's basically going to take the vow to be a full-time nun. When they get there, and I didn't know at first where they were going. When they pull up, you see all these kids and stuff outside. So you know this. I'm thinking like, okay, is it like a school or whatever? But it's an orphanage. They do the teaching there and stuff like that. But little girls, only girls. And while they're driving there, though, like that Cardinal Lawrence, the one who's known her, he's talking to her, and he's basically telling her like, you know, the world's changed so much, basically that people no longer trust the church. And basically saying like, you know, we got to figure out a way to get them to turn back to the church. And he tells Margaret, shit, my bad, Margaret, he's like, maybe you can help us earn their trust back. They get to the house, not a house. It's like a big ass fucking building, whatever. They got the girls outside playing, pulls up. Sister Sylvia is outside waiting on her. Sister Sylvia basically takes her from the Cardinal Lawrence, let me show you around type stuff, starts taking her through, introducing her to people, showing her the grounds. And she tells her that this is an orphanage, basically from newborn all the way up to the age of 18. Basically tells her that, they have their own birthing facility. Like sometimes if they send pregnant mothers there, they will deliver the baby there and everything. She shows her little maternity room that's got the, odd as it may be, but the maternity room had like a viewing window, like you could literally sit there and watch some people giving birth. Who the fuck would want to watch that? I don't know. And then there comes a part where they're walking through and she introduces her to this one girl. She's coming down the stairs. And it's weird because the wind's blowing, like her shit's blowing around like her little nun outfit. And she's like, I think her name was Sister Angelica. And she just looks weird and creepy. But it was just odd to me how her little outfit, her little nun thing was kind of blowing around or some shit. Like nobody else's shit was blowing around. I don't know. But she just looked fucking creepy. At one point, we're going to get introduced to a little girl. Sienna Carlita. We're going to call her Carlita for the purpose of this show because I fuck up saying like Sienna. I don't even know if I'm saying that shit right. But she's going to see a drawing on like a board of all the kids putting drawings and shit. And on this drawing, it shows it's just different than all the other drawings. All the rest of them got like different colors and shit to them. And this one's like literally she just took a black crayon and shit. And then Margaret's going to be nosy, and she kind of opens up a door and it's like this room. And she sees, you can tell there's like a little girl kneeling beside the bed over there. Mary starts talking to her. It's like the little girl, you can hear some whispering type shit. Mary tries to introduce herself and start talking to her. Mary kind of kneels down on the floor. And the little girl's kind of kneels down looking under the bed at her, which is, that was creepy to me. Like this little girl's over there on the, why is she in this room by herself? All the little kids are out and about. Why is this one girl in the room? Is there something wrong with her? Is she crazy? And I don't think I would just roll up in there and start carrying on a conversation with a little girl who's locked in this, not really locked because she walked in there, but it's like not normal. And when she kneels down and looks at her, she's like looking under her bed and she's looking at Margaret. And she's trying to talk to her. And next thing you know, the little girl kind of climbs under the bed out from the other side of the bed and she's kind of crawling towards her. At this point, this guy, Jay, standing up and backing the fuck out because the whole thing just is creepy. Little girl ain't said a fucking word yet. She just looks at her under the bed, crawls under the bed, crawling right towards her. Margaret don't budge. She just still kneels down. And I'm just like, Margaret, stand up, step out. Little girl gets closer. Next thing you know, little girl kind of comes up at her, grabs her by the face, like hands on both sides of the face, and licks her, one side of her face, right up the cheek. Just licks her right up the side of her face. And then that Sister Sylvia comes back in. And, Margaret kind of like, what the hell's going on? She kind of jumps up. Carlita kind of backs back up against the bed. Sister comes in, like basically saying, like, are you misbehaving type shit? And, and Carlita's going to be a main one in this movie as it goes on. And that's her first introduction to Carlita. And Margaret even asked that Sister Sylvia, like, why is she in here? And basically, Carlita's a little troublemaker. Carlita gets in a little trouble. She says, fuck the system, damn the man. Carlita bucks the system, goes, and so she gets in trouble, gets put in the bad room. Then apparently she doesn't stay there at the orphanage. I thought maybe if I would assume that they all just lived there, but they don't. because I'm guessing because she's not a full blown like taking the vows in the veil type shit, she can't stay there. So they basically have her in an apartment, kind of like away from the orphanage, because she has her own driver who basically drives her to her apartment, brings her back every day. She gets back to her apartment and she gets up there and she's, you know, unpacking her things, takes her little outfit off. She's kneeling down to pray. And while she's praying, she starts hearing whispering noises. And it is like she's hearing whispering noises because we will find out later that Margaret was at an orphan. She was an orphan. She was also one of those that just kind of bucked the system, that was hard to deal with. So one of the bad kids. And as she's hearing these whispers, she's hearing like, this is one of our worst children that we've had. We need to try to get her into the bed, and we need to try to maybe she spent some time strapped down to a bed or, locked in a room. I don't know. And while she's kneeling next to her bed, you're hearing all this while she's like praying, in the night, now I lay me down to sleep, getting ready to go night night. And you see like the curtains and stuff blowing because the windows are open. And then all of a sudden, over there on the wall where she had hung up her little soon to be nun outfit on the wall, you see something. And it's this creepy ass. And it's not really a jump scare because you knew something was coming. So it was just that like, not really like a screaming, super loud jump scare. But you see this creepy ass nun turn around and she says something to her. And then she kind of snaps out of it like she was seeing things. And the reason that comes into play later because while she was in the orphanage growing up, you find out that she had like hallucination type stuff. And she was basically, because she ends up telling her little roommate that comes in, like, hey, I was in an orphanage. I wasn't the good kid. I was a little troublemaker. But this Cardinal Lawrence, the one who met her at the train station, he basically come there and he basically helped her and helped her deal with a lot of the mental stuff and let her and kind of get her to understand that a lot of stuff was just in her head. She was just seeing things and helped her. And that's what got her to the point of wanting to go now full blown, take the veil, full blown nun, the whole 9 yards. And so because she's telling the roommate when she first meets her about, how her imagination was, and she in her mind, she was kind of like how Carlita was, where she could see herself in her. And the roommate, completely opposite. The roommate starts telling her story about like how she got the call in, and she was just like, I was outside, I'd run away from home. It was cold outside. I heard a voice, and that's what made me want to go, become a nun, commit to the church type thing. And it was almost like the way it shows Margaret, while she's telling her this, Margaret's got like these tears in her eyes. And it's like Margaret is almost like kind of not jealous, but sitting there going like, well, why didn't I hear a voice? Like, why didn't I have something like that? And that's just how it came across to me. Like I said, simple minded here, people. Hold on one second. Everybody grab your drinks. Get them a jack break. Thank you. And so after she has her first, she meets her roommate. And the next day we're back at work. I say work, but they're out at the orphanage. Kids are outside playing. Group of nuns sitting around on the little tables outside. They're peeling potatoes, and smoking cigarettes, joking and shit like that. And that was odd to me because you always see the shit with like nuns and all. They're all like super like, but it was funny because this little group here, they're like, smoking the cigarettes. And there was a couple little jokes that her roommate Luz, Luz is how it's spelled, but little kind of like sexual endo jokes he's kind of making towards. And, they all kind of laugh and stuff like that. Then it gets us to the point where they give you a little of how it is at nighttime when the kids go to sleep. All the kids are at their beds. Looks like Sister Sylvia is reading because some of this they speak in, I think it's Italian or French or something. I don't, and it shows the subtitles for that, but it didn't give me the English version, so I don't really know what they're saying, but I'm assuming it's like a nighttime prayer. Um, and the kids are going to sleep, and then this is where Margaret gets a little, nosy. You start hearing these whispering sounds, and she starts looking around, and she goes, and you'll see her look into like but that's what it was. She couldn't find Carlita that night when they were all going to bed. Well, she went looking, and she's looking in the crack of this one door, and I'm thinking this is Carlita. They're like literally strapping her down to the bed, and one of the nuns is like comes up, closes the door on her, and I'm just like, I don't know. That was just it's like always saying, bitch, mind your business type thing. But I think that was Carlita. Not sure what Carlita did to deserve to get strapped down to the bed. And while she's standing there, she turns and looks, and down the hallway, you see that one chick from earlier, the one that was coming down the stairs, and I said her name and I already forget it. I'm trying to scroll back to see where I put it. Oh, nope. Nope. Yeah, I can't remember their name now. Is it Sylvia? No, that was the main head nun. Oh, well, I can't remember it now. But crazy blonde chick coming down the stairs earlier. We're gonna call her crazy blonde chick. So what I'm gonna call her. While she's standing in the hallway, she's looking down there, and you see the crazy blonde chick peeking around the side of the wall, and she's kind of like smiling at her and like tears, and it's like it's like she's happy to see her. I don't know. She was just super weird. Then we're going and then at some point, apparently, when you are a assumed to be nun, like you're about to take your vows. That's kind of where old Luz and Margaret were at. They're about to take their vows under veil. But I guess up till then, you can kind of do what you want to do. Sow your wild oats, get it out of the way now, get it out of your system, because Luz, she's got this like, when you first meet her, you can tell she just came back from the club all dressed up, nice looking. And now here we are on a certain night getting ready to go out on the town. She's got fucking Margaret in some like, some sexiness. She's got her kind of dolled up, little shirt, one of them types of shirt just barely cover your damn boobies and, cut out in the middle, and got her all dressed up and they're about to go out on the town. And I'm just like, I guess this is, the one last hoorah before you give it all up. And so they go out on the town, they go into a bar and this little club type thing. Well, the roommates over there dancing it up. Two guys come up, offer a drink. They're over there dancing. Well, then, I guess it's different in the 70s, but like we got our girl Margaret standing there at the bar with Paulo, I think's his name. And she basically looks at him. He's like, "Can I have some of that?" And just ask for some of his fucking drink. Like, maybe in the 70s, early 70s, maybe they didn't get down like they do now, but you don't do that shit anymore, people. And then we see Margaret get real loose. Margaret loosens up, goes out on the dance floor. She's dancing with this old boy on the floor, and they have a good time. Doesn't really show you a whole lot, but I ain't gonna spoil everything. But next thing you know, she's waking up the next morning. And one of the things that will always creep me out, people, are spiders. I have a fear of spiders. I hate spiders, don't like them. When Margaret wakes up that morning, you see a close-up of this spider. And you're like, what? And hey, I'm telling you, my skin crawls at the sight of spiders. And the spider is literally, you see it up close. Well, when the camera kind of backs off and you see it, Margaret is knocked the fuck out in her bed. Laying on her back, hair all spread out, just still the same clothes she had on. But the spider was on her fucking eyelashes. And you see it crawl down the side of her cheek and kind of disappear in her hair. And I'm like, oh hell no, Margaret. How do you not feel it? She gets up. And then I'm sitting there. Then you start wondering, like, you start figuring out, like, well, okay, what went on that night? What happened? Like, did she just go out and just go full blown, like balls to the wall? Like, and you don't really know because she'll go out there and she talks to her roommate. Luz is out there already dressed up in her little outfit, ready to go to work, and she's talking to her, and she's basically, telling Margaret like, "Oh, I had a hard time pulling away from the guy. You still didn't, you didn't get too bad." But it's like the whole time Margaret's trying to figure out, like, you can tell Margaret's trying to ask her, like, "Did I do anything really wrong?" But you never do really get the answer. It never really gives it to you. Like, did Margaret take Apollo back to a bathroom somewhere and fuck his brains out? You don't really get that in that moment. You don't. Um. So where did it go after that? I'm trying to look through my notes because I literally just watched it again. Um, well, either way, they're going to end up, we're going to kind of jump forward a little bit, but there's going to come a point in this thing to where, um, Margaret is going to get um, this visit from Father Brennan. She's outside sitting on some steps somewhere. This Father Brennan dude just comes up to her, the same one that was in the church earlier, and he starts talking to her. And he's basically saying, can I talk to you? It only take a few minutes. And and he tells her, he's like, you were at the orphanage, and he's basically telling her it has something to do with the little girl. And he asked her to come to his hotel room. He's got like a hotel. He gives her the address, room number, and shit like that. There is a point, and when she kind of tells him this, she just kind of blows him off, like, whatever. Next morning, I'm assuming they're at school. Next day, it looks like a fun day outside. All the little girls outside playing, little ring around roses type shit. We got a nun jumping on a trampoline with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. They're having a good time. And Margaret's just kind of watching the girls and stuff like that, enjoying the morning. This was and so she, at one point, she looks over and she sees Carlita sitting by herself at the table, little picnic table. She goes to walk over to her. As she gets closer, you see all of a sudden that Carlita's not sitting by herself. The first time she was by herself, now she's not. You see somebody sitting there because you see a hand go up the back of Carlita. And when she gets closer, it's that crazy blonde chick that was coming down the stairs. Now, prior to this, I think it was like the day prior or something. Because this one, the part that got me, because I am not a fan of anything that is childbirth related. I can take a whole lot of gory type shit, but the one thing that will almost make me turn my head every time is anything baby having related. Because there is a part to where Margaret hears a lady screaming. She goes, they shut the door on her, but they got the big viewing window, and she's watching this lady about to give birth. This lady is screaming her ass off, but they're strapping her down, like her arms are strapped down behind her. Her feet are up in them little stirrup things. They put the gas mask over her. They give her the good stuff because she lightens up real quick. And she's kind of smiling. And then she starts giggling. And she looks over at the door where Margaret's watching her. And she's looking at her with this creepy ass fucking smile and laugh going. And the next thing you know, she just starts fucking screaming, losing it again. Margaret, while this is going on, the camera's giving me flashes. Quick little, just quick to like the vagina area. You see her belly, you see all that, and then it kind of gives you this little peek of the vagina area where some shit's about to go south. It's about to get ugly. Margaret runs around. She looks through another door or window. I can't remember. And then the next thing you know, we see something coming out of the vagina. It's like a fucking hand, people. Like a demon looking hand comes out of the vagina. And it's got all this little slimy looking Ghostbuster type shit on it. And it's coming out. And at the same time, I'm still trying to watch it and not watch it at the same time because I'm telling you, child, you want to get me to leave a room, throw on anything childbirth related, I will leave the fucking room. That is just can't do it. People say it's a beautiful thing. It's fucking not, in my opinion. But when I see this, but she passes out from it. And you never really know, like, did she give birth to, like, was it just a kid? Was it just her fucking hallucinations? Is Margaret really batshit crazy? You don't know. Then, like I said, the next day is when we're down there with the fucking Carlita and the crazy girl coming down the stairs. Because the crazy girl that came down the stairs, she hands a drawing to Margaret when Margaret comes up there and sees them both sitting there. And when she opens up that drawing, it is literally a drawing of what she's seen at that lady giving birth. Because it's got like 4 nuns, like on a corner, a lady laying down, and you can tell there's something like a circle drawn in her belly that don't look like no fucking baby. And crazy blonde girl gets up, and then she kind of like goes about her business, and Margaret sits down to talk to fucking Carlita. Well, next thing you know, that crazy blonde chick's at the balcony, and she no longer has her little fancy nun shit on. She's like standing there. They give you a close up of her face, and she's like, you can tell she's wet with something, and she's got this smile, and she's creepy as fuck looking. And they all see her, and they look up, and she'll look down, and she kind of looks at fucking Carlita. It makes you think that she's looking at Carlita because Carlita's there, and so is fucking Margaret. And she looks down and says, like, I'm doing this for you. And she sets herself on fire. Ball of fire, jumps off, hangs herself, and kills herself right then. But then that was enough to make fucking Margaret go meet up with damn Father Brennan to kind of, some shit went down. Now she's kind of curious. What it starts to uncover is that the world has turned away from God. There are 2 types of people in the churches, is what Father Brennan explains. The ones that believe like him and Margaret do, try to do the right things and stuff like that. Then he basically tells her that there's another type of church that is realized that the world has turned away. And they believe in, they're okay with like shit like torture, rape, and shit like that. And a different type of rules they play by. And for them, they think that it is a way, their thinking is we've got to do something to turn the world back to the church. The only way to do that is to fucking scare them. And the whole time he's telling her this, and it makes complete sense when he's telling her, because as what you've kind of seen so far. He says that because he shows her that picture while he's got her in there talking to her, pulls out that same picture he had earlier of the baby with the 2 nuns and the priest. He basically tells Margaret, these. She recognizes the 2 nuns because it's that sister Sylvia, whatever the main one. And they're basically he's explaining to her that is Carlita in that picture. That picture is that same little girl that's back at the orphanage. And he tells her that the new world has turned away from God. They're no longer scared of the old teaching of the fire and brimstone. So when he's like, how do you turn them back around? And you got to give them something to fear. So there's going to be this group of like priests and bishops. They're going to get together and do something drastic to turn the world back to the church. They believe, and this is what all, Father Brennan's telling Margaret, that they believe that they could birth the Antichrist. And once he's birthed, he's going to come onto the earth, bring all these dark forces, all this bad stuff, and it's going to basically put fear in people that's going to make them turn back to the church. So that's the thinking with all of these bishops and stuff of like, hey, we're going to birth the Antichrist, and then he's going to fuck some shit up, and it's going to scare people. They're going to turn back to us. Win-win for us. That's the thinking. Margaret's not going to buy into this shit. She's just like, you're fucking crazy. Let me get out of here type thing. And there comes a point at some point they tell a date. It's like the 6th day of the 6th month at the 6th hour. So it's like 666, June 6th. And he tells her like June 6th coming up. And he tells her that it's almost June 6th and he needs her help and she's not buying it. She's like, let go of my arm. I got to go. She basically bails out. It will start. And at this point, I'm so into it, man, because you don't really know what the fuck is going on. You're thinking one way this whole time, like, okay, it's that little Carlita girl is the issue. There is more to it because Margaret starts seeing things. There comes the point where she keeps seeing the girl who fucking set herself on fire. She starts seeing her. She hears these noises, and she starts almost in the nun's eyes. She's fucking losing it, and they're just like they don't like the fact that she's getting close to Carlita. And the whole time I'm thinking, okay, they don't want her close to Carlita because Carlita is she's the one. That's the vessel. She is the one. And one thing that I realized the first time I watched it, I didn't realize. I didn't really quite catch all of it, but you catch on the fact that they need a male. They need a male to be birthed. Now, for this whole thing to happen, the beast has to basically have sex with its own seed. So, in the beginning, they show us that one lady that she volunteers, she lays down, mask over her face, this growling looking thing comes out and basically impregnates her. That's when they say now the girl's got to be like a teenager. So they say for this whole thing to happen, now that teenager has got to get to an age to where that same beast from the beginning has sex with that, like the daughter that he birthed from the one lady. He has to have sex with her, and once that person gets pregnant, they need the male to have the Antichrist for this whole thing to be complete. You know, I missed that the first time I watched it. I caught it the second time. So if you haven't seen it and I spoiled it, I warned you earlier I was going to spoil some shit, so it's okay. But so that's the whole thing is, you know, some inbreeding shit's got to go on. The whole time you're thinking it's just fucking Carlita, this one kid, this one little girl. She's the one. And as this whole thing starts getting peeled back, not so much. Because Margaret's finally going to get to the point to where, because Father Brendan tells her, he needs to know, in his mind, Carlita is the one. He's the one that is the spawn of the beast, that the beast has to eventually fuck to get the Antichrist. And so he's set on that. He's like, I need you to, he basically want Margaret to get the files. He needs to understand like how she was born, when she was born, if she is 100% the one. And Margaret at first is kind of like not into this, but a whole lot of shit goes on, a whole lot of shit goes down to where now Margaret is kind of doubting this whole thing. You see these other nuns, how they are, how they're treating Margaret. Margaret's, and they're basically trying to keep her away from Carlita. The whole thing's leaning towards, you know, okay, they're just trying to keep you away from Carlita. You got to fucking figure this shit out. Well, she has to go get her hands on these files. And then you come to realize, which was a fucking awesome thing to me, is this was not just the name of the girl, Sienna, I think that's how the last name was pronounced. You're thinking it's just this one. Carlita Sienna is the name of this one little girl. It comes to explain to you that no, it's a fucking project. Like it is numerous. So Sienna's, however you say that last name in this movie, numerous. I think it was like 14 of them that this has been a test run on to basically get a little girl that survives it, the whole birthing thing. So it wasn't just Carlita being the one and only. There were others because it shows pictures of them. There's some fucking, hills have eyes, wrong turn, inbred looking fucking things that are born. And the whole thing is, they got to have the mark of the beast, the 666 type thing on them. And I did not see it coming. Like the whole time I'm sold on it's this Carlita chick is the thing. And then when she finds these files and you're seeing these like 15 different other ones, and I'm like, holy shit, like it's not just this one. It's this project they've been working on. And there's a twist that comes to it with the dude that she hooked up with in the club that night. All of that kind of comes about when it's like you will, and this is one of the good parts in this movie. I say good parts, but it's bad because he fucking dies. But she sees him on the street. Apparently they haven't spoken since then. She sees him on the street. She gets out of the car, goes chasing him like Paulo, like what's going on? And he's like saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." And she's trying to talk to him, and he's kind of like trying to stay away from him. You can tell he's got some shit going on upstairs. And he turns and looks at her, and he makes the comment like, look for the mark. And right when he does it, it's almost like he's pointing towards his head. And he's like, look for the mark. And next thing you know, a truck comes out and fucking smashes his ass, pins him up against the wall. And Margaret goes over there. Paulo is like pinned, and he's talking to her, and she's trying to talk to him like, you're going to be okay. And he's like, I don't want to die. And she's kind of like, okay, here we go. I'm going to pull you. And I'm like, what the fuck are you going to pull? Like he is pinned. And you see her grab him, and she kind of like pulls him and steps away from the truck. And then some people scream, and like she's literally standing there with half of his body. Like his bottom half is just smashed the fuck off. And that was a good kill for me. I do enjoy a good kill. I enjoyed that one. So at some point, Margaret is going to get her hands on all these records. Some shit goes down. Margaret and Father Gabriel, the dude that met her at the station, they are basically going to link up. They're going to go hook up with Father Brennan to figure out what the fuck's going on. They got all these folders, all these files. They're realizing that this isn't just one person. There are numerous that they've made trial runs with trying to get the right one that survives. And apparently Carlita was one of the survivors. But in that picture that they have of the one little girl that they say is the one, she has the mark, the 666 on her scalp. A few minutes earlier, Margaret finds out that Carlita has the mark. She survived. She's one of the ones that survived, but she has the mark in the roof of her mouth. And soon as I seen that part, I didn't think nothing of it. Like when she's on the ground, and the moment when Margaret looks up at Carlita and she sees the mark in the roof of her mouth. And I'm just like, oh shit, she is the one. She's got the mark. Well, when they start looking at that picture, the one that priest had from the very beginning, the mark's on the scalp. So it's not Carlita. As soon as it said, you figured out like, holy shit, it's not Carlita. What the fuck? And then Margaret starts having this flashback. And then it starts letting us all know the real deal. We're that night at the club. Apparently Margaret got snatched up. They took Margaret that night and basically did the same ritual to her. Black hood on the face, rope around the neck, strapped to the thing. This time they give you a shot of the beast. He like opens his eyes. And then he kind of comes out there and you see her like on her stomach spider crawling around. You see this big fucking demon looking hand come across her stomach. And next thing you know is like the shadow. You can see the shadow. It's like he's about to mount her. And then she kind of snaps out of it. And she's with that Father Gabriel and Father Brennan, like losing her fucking mind. And that's when you realize that she is the one. She's the one. She's the one in that baby picture. The whole time the church has protected her and moved her around to keep her protected to get to this point where we're at now. Because now, that night at the club, the demon impregnated her. He did his thing. Now we're on June 6th, about to hit that hour of the 666. So Margaret is now impregnated. They're basically like, we got to get you to a doctor. She's like, you got to get this thing out of me. They're making their way to the doctor. Some shit goes down. They don't make it to the doctor. They get followed. Car takes them out. Margaret gets out of the car. And this is one of the parts of the movie that I found creepy, sexy, all at the same time. But she gets out of the car and she starts making these moaning sounds, almost like sexual type sounds. And she's kind of moving around outside the car after this car wreck happened. And she's like, it's just a really cool scene. But it's sexy and creepy and just dark. And you can tell. But it's like, and all of a sudden you see her kind of like she drops to the ground and it looks almost like she's just like water breaks or squirts everywhere type shit. But there's like her stomach's growing instantly. And she's about to give birth. And then that's where they get us to the part to where we're winding down now. They got her in this building, wherever, down in the basement deep area. I don't know, but she's strapped down, about to give birth. The one person that's there is that fucking Cardinal Lawrence, the one who met her at the station earlier, the one that she said helped save her and help get her mind right. He's been right there this whole time taking care of her. He's in on the whole thing. Him, that fucking the nun Sylvia, even her fucking little roommate, the one that took her out clubbing, she's in on it. So now they got her in this little strap to the bed. They gas her up. Now they got to give, I think they may have been like, I can't remember if it may have been a C-section they type deal, but they had to get both of them out. Apparently she had twins. When she does this, they take the babies out. 2 babies come out. A little girl comes out. That's a no-go. They don't need a girl. Girl is a no-go. They need a male. The other one comes out. They're all celebrating, kind of like we got our male. This is the one. We got him finally. Like this is what we've been waiting on. So this is all going on. Fucking Margaret's going to try to. Margaret knows that this cannot get out. She already knows. She's, her and Father Brennan, they know like this is not good if this baby gets out. So she tries to play it cool. And she's just like, can I hold my baby? And she wants to hold it. And for some reason, they were cool with it. And they took him over there. Fucking Lawrence, the old cardinal, like lets her hold the baby, like the boy. Like the little girl's laying her on a table somewhere. They don't give 2 fucks about her. So she's like holding the baby. And the Lawrence guy's trying to talk to her like, like you should be so proud and blah, blah, blah. But she's got this whole thing planned. She grabs up a fucking scalpel off the little table, stabs him right in the neck. Down goes Cardinal Lawrence. Done. She jumps off the table. She's got the baby in hand. All she had to do was kill it. The whole thing could have ended. She had the scalpel. She had the baby in her hand right there at his head. Baby's making some little bit of baby noises. And all she had to do, just had to kill it. The whole thing done. And while she's sitting there holding it, that nurse, the nun Sylvia's coming up to her, and she's kind of like, give me the baby type shit. And as she grabs her, next thing you know, here comes their old roommate, old Lust, the old newly appointed nun, comes up there and basically hits her and stabs her in the stomach with a scalpel. When she goes down, next thing you know, the whole little group goes leaving the building now. They got their little baby boy. That's what they needed. The Damien. They're leaving. As they're leaving, the queen nun, Sylvia, she's just like, burn them all. Like, set fire to them, kill them all. We don't need them anymore. So as they're leaving, dude goes up in there, gonna light a fucking match, burn them all. The baby, the little newborn baby girl, Margaret, all of them that were left, burn them up. And while this is going on, Carlita's there. Carlita's there, and she's going to end up helping them out because you see the fucking rest of them leave. Once they got that baby boy, they set fire to shit. Carlita comes in, got to save the day to help get fucking Margaret and the little girl out. And then it gives us the lead up to the Omen because it explains to, I forget what his rank was. I'm trying to see if I put it somewhere. Oh, can't see it. Can't see it. I forget what they said to do. He had a title. He's some big higher up motherfucker. Mhm. Hold on, give me a sec. Oh, U.S. Ambassador of Rome. That's who he is. U.S. Ambassador of Rome. He's about to be a new father. And the plan is they're going to do a baby swap. Um, or not really a baby swap. Basically, like you're gonna have a tragic loss type thing, and they're gonna basically switch the baby. I can't, and because shows at one point the like his wife having her baby, and you see like that nun of them standing there with like the baby devil, and then you see him walk by with like this other baby, and so the plan was to basically have this U.S. ambassador take the devil baby, and basically he's going to living the good life, you know. And as they're making this switch, you actually see a little date calendar thing on the wall, and it's actually got on there like 666, and that's how we get, devil baby to the parents of like the first Omen 1976. God, I love a fucking prequel. It kind of leads me up to it. Um, and it doesn't just end there. Kind of, it gives you a little jump forward to where we have Margaret, Carlita, and the little girl. The little girl looks to be maybe 2 or 3, maybe. I don't do good at judging ages, but they're all in like this cabin up in the mountains, snowing outside. The little girl, like I said, 2 or 3, all 3 of them, they're living together now, just trying to stay off the radar. Next thing you know, guess who the fuck shows up? Father Brennan shows up. And he's like, hey, they know you are alive. They're very upset, mainly about that little girl still being alive. I don't know, you know. And, Margaret's just like, I just want to be left alone. And Father Brennan is like, hey, I'm just giving you a heads up. As he turns to leave, he stops and he turns around and he goes, they gave a name to it. And she was like, what do you mean? He's like, your son, they gave it a name. And he says, Damien. And bam, credits roll. Then we're going to roll right into the first Omen. And after watching this, it makes you want to, like, you just want to pick it up and just one after another. Because it was just so fucking good, man. I love this movie. I enjoyed it, man. It had everything for some gore, killing, twists, just so fucking good. Everything about it. Religious movie for me. Chef kiss. Perfect. I loved it. I marry it. And I will own it. But yeah, this one was, and it was fun. It was a good watch. You got to go check it out. I watched it on Hulu. I don't really know where else it may be, Amazon Prime. I don't know. But this was a lot of fun. It just, everything about it was good. This movie was so good. Recommend it. Even though I tell you to go watch all horror movies, but I'm telling you, like this one to me was good. Um, so yeah, it's a marriage for me for the first Omen. Miss Stevenson, you fucking nailed it. So good. Arcacia. Curious how to say that now. But yeah, that's my review of the first Omen, man. This thing was so good. And I will definitely be adding it to my collection. But hey, I appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate you all hanging out with me. Appreciate you all shooting the shit, having some drinks with me. Everybody grab you one more before we go. Gentleman Jack break. Thank you. But that's gonna do it for this week's episode. I don't know what's coming next week. I have no clue. One thing I was curious on is, I've released episodes on Fridays, I've released them on Mondays, and I'm curious what people, when it comes to listening to shows, what do they prefer? Do they prefer to have something to like, hit play on Monday morning driving to work, or that, driving home from work on Friday evening type thing? You know, and there's sometimes I get the time, I do one each, it just depends. But I'm just curious what people, when it comes to the release date of getting to listen to the shit show, of kind of what they prefer. Um, if anybody's got any suggestions, any movies you want me to talk about and cover, reach out, leave us a message, comment, whatever. Me and John do have a plan coming up for the next, like, trilogy type show where we fuck, marry, or kill and decide which one out of the three. Right now, we're leaning toward the human centipede being the next one. Like I said, my bro stays busy, so when we get it squeezed in, we'll get it. If until then, I'll just be seeing what I can come up with. I do know that me and Dylan are talking about doing Blood and Honey 2, Winnie the Pooh. I shit all over the first one, but I have some hopes for the second one. So we'll see when the time comes. But yeah. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Appreciate everybody shooting the shit with me, giving us a few minutes of your time. The shit show appreciates it. Now, go give us a like, subscribe, follow along, share, leave a review, whatever. Tell all your fucked up friends about us, and we'd appreciate it. But until next time, people, that's going to do it for this show. That's going to do it for this episode. The first Omen 2024. Now, this is that time of the week, people, where you all reach over, you gather up your shit, you put your chairs away, you grab your drinks, and you get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
That man's got Mars.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and asked me. This ass.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive, alive. It's alive.
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Welcome to the debauchery.